Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Horror Corner. I'm your host, Sean Patrick Erschen, and this week we are going to talk about the legacy of what I feel is the greatest heavy metal band in history, and that is Slayer! That's right, folks, that's how you gotta say it. You can't just say Slayer. It's either that or fucking Slayer! The band is amazing. What a legacy the band has. Being one of the forefathers of the thrash metal movement, along with Metallica, Megadeth, Anthrax, Exodus. All those bands help usher in the thrash metal movement. Of course, you got the Big Four, who they've done some shows together as well, like the one you see on the big screen there, the Big Four show, the DVD from Sofia, Bulgaria, which is my favorite music video ever. I can't even tell you how many times I've watched this video. It's absolutely fucking amazing. I just go nuts. I have a little mosh pit in my room here every time I listen to this freaking video. And every band on there was just absolutely amazing, especially Slayer. And we heard the talk about, of course, the final tour. Slayer is coming to an end, folks. What do you guys think about that? I'm really broken up about it, I gotta say. And I was very shocked to hear that this is the final tour coming up. The final tour of the legendary Slayer, the masters of thrash metal. It all started back in 1983 when they released their first album, Show No Mercy. And when they came out with that, everyone was like, oh my god, who are these guys? The music sounded so evil, so devious, and so different. There hadn't been anything that brutal at that time, you know, with the real nasty, dark lyrics, with the satanic imagery, and just balls out metal to the wall, you know, and there really hasn't been a band since, in my opinion, that represents everything that heavy metal is all about, like Slayer does. You just got everything. It's blistering speed, and their slower songs are real melodic, but they're really dark and evil sounding. You know, there's no one that sounds as evil as Slayer. You know, especially on the songs like South of Heaven, and pretty much a lot of the South of Heaven album does, like songs like Spill the Blood. Just amazing. And they released just a string of classics in the early 80s. You had the aforementioned Show No Mercy, and you had Haunting the Chapel, the EP. I had some great songs on there, Captor of Sin, the title track, Haunting the Chapel, Chemical Warfare. Those are Slayer classics. And then, of course, you had Hell Awaits, which to me is the first full-blown like Slayer, where they really found their groove and who they are and what their sound is. And Hell Awaits is just full-blown Slayer all the way. And you had the song Hell Awaits. You had really sick stuff like At Dawn They Sleep. Just filled with classics. It's an amazing album. You got Praise of Death on there. Just an awesome album. If you guys get a chance, you gotta get Hell Awaits. Of course, the real breakthrough album was Rain and Blood, the masterpiece, an absolute 5-star masterpiece that is Rain and Blood. Everybody knows Slayer from Rain and Blood. What they did in 29 minutes on the album, no band can ever match in history. It's just absolutely 29 minutes of non-stop heavy metal, monstrous mayhem and destruction. It just rampages through, and they leave and they exit, and you're left there in a bloody carcass on the ground when they're through with you. There's nothing left of you. And it takes 29 minutes to bash your brains in with the most demonic, the fastest, the most evil sounding heavy metal ever created. Um, every single song is an absolute Slayer classic. That's why Slayer could just go on stage and play Rain and Blood and leave, and the fans would love it. That's one album that just will never die, and that is Rain and Blood. It's just unbelievable, skull crushing, absolutely blistering and brutal. It's unbelievable. Rain and Blood. Um, but yeah, so I was really broken up to hear about Slayer retiring, and I just can't believe it. It just doesn't even seem real to me. How can they be retiring? They seem so young still. They're only in their 50s, you know. And you see guys like Alice Cooper, who's 70 years old, still out there on stage doing his thing. The difference is with a band like Slayer, the intensity, the speed, the power of their music. That's really difficult to do when you're in your 50s, you know. How can you keep up with that speed and that power and that aggression all those years later, you know? And I think it's really taken a toll on them, especially Tom Araya. He's stated in the media several times that he is really getting tired of the life on the road and all the trials and tribulations that brings. He's just really weary of it. He's tired. He's beat. And I think he might be done, folks. You know, this might be it, I think, for Tom Araya. Some people don't believe it. Some people think they're just going to tour forever. Yeah, maybe it'll be their last tour, but they'll stretch it out for 5 years. I don't think that's the case. I think they may stretch it out to maybe a year, but I honestly do believe that's it. It is shocking, but at the same time, it's not, because I feel this has been coming the way Tom Araya has talked. I also feel that he doesn't really want to go on without Jeff Hanneman gone, you know. Jeff Hanneman, as we know, passed away in 2013. The brilliant guitarist, the brilliant songwriter who wrote so many of their amazing classics, um, is no longer with us. And yeah, they went on as best they could. They got Gary Holt from Exodus to replace him, and he has done a fantastic job, and the fans have embraced him. But it's not Jeff. It's never going to be Jeff again. You know, that's a problem, especially for Tom Araya. I think they frequently collaborated together on a lot of songs, and I feel like he was the yin to Tom's yang. You know, they really worked together really well, and now basically Kerry King is the main songwriter, and that's it. You know, Tom Araya doesn't really collaborate too much with him. I noticed in this last album, Repentless. I really did feel it was a solid album, and it was kind of like a return to form. Some of the songs are really intense, but yeah, it's not that classic Slayer. It's never gonna be that way again, and everybody knows that. Because you don't have Jeff, you know, that's a major piece missing, and yeah, it's still Slayer, and you're still gonna have a great time at the concerts. They're gonna kick ass on the shows. But it's just not true Slayer, it seems. It just seems like something's missing when you don't have Jeff anymore, you know. It's a major, major, devastating loss. Um, but I just want to say I had to pay my tribute to the mighty Slayer, the greatest thrash band, the greatest heavy metal band of all time, in my opinion. Um, I've been listening to music since 1994 is when I really got into them with the Divine Intervention album. Yeah, I knew about them before. I had heard a couple songs. I saw a couple of their videos on TV, like from the Seasons in the Abyss album. Of course, I saw the video for Seasons in the Abyss and War Ensemble. And, you know, I knew about them. I thought they were cool, but I didn't really get into them. I decided when I buy Divine Intervention that I really want to take a listen to them. And once I did that, I was completely blown away, and I never looked back. It's totally Slayer all the way. And of course, after that, I went and listened to all their back catalog, and I realized just how phenomenal this band is. The amazing playing, the amazing guitar work from Jeff Hanneman and Kerry King. No one does that dual guitar attack quite like them. I just love that the way they do guitars and they trade solos back and forth. It's so intense. It's like a wall of sound coming at both ears, you know. And of course that nasty vocals of Tom Araya, that evil sounding, menacing voice he has, the sound of hell, the sound of the devil almost. Um, you just really feel it down in your toes. And yeah, you gotta love the crazy lyrics, the horror, the blood, the murder, mayhem, destruction, satanic stuff. They talk about all kinds of